chronological age is ticking towards 60, people are falling through the cracks of the employment system. And I did interview with a couple of people, and I heard the stories where system was failing to use the available aptitudes and attitudes and skills. Next slide, please. So we did this research to reveal the factors that shape employment profile of older people in Cornwall. In fact, we tried to not only to see the factors that shape the employment profile of older people in Cornwall, but to see how those factors interact with each other, have knock-on effects on each other indeed. And later to see that what portfolio of policies are needed to improve the situation. As we are looking at the interactions of the factors, we need a portfolio of policies. I mean, like, it should be multi-pronged indeed. Like, one policy is not going to work because of the interactions of the factors indeed. Next slide, please. And the methodology, like, I did a workshop pre-COVID, but then COVID happened, we stopped, and then we moved to interviews. The first aim, the objective was to run a couple of workshops, but then because of the COVID, we moved to interviews. And I did 29 interviews with older people, some SME owners, some HR experts, and some policy people. And then I used an approach called system mapping to turn the qualitative data, like the interviews data, to system maps, which are the interactions or knock-on effects between factors. Next slide, please. So this is the map. Like, it's a complex map, but we call it a system map, which shows that how factors are coming together, interacting, and finally shaping the older people's employment profile, which we know that, like, the employment system is failing to take them on. Can someone zoom on it, because I'm going to present. Yeah, okay, great. Just can you keep it here? If you would move to left, it would be better. Is it possible? Great, brilliant, thank you. As you see, like, there are a couple of, like, when I was doing the interviews, there were a couple of factors that people were speaking about a lot when they were speaking of employment barriers for older people. The first, which sits like in the middle, is negative attitude to older people work performance. People were telling, the interviewees were telling, that there is negative attitude, a bit up, negative attitude in the center, negative attitude to older workforce performance. People were thinking that older people are not able to perform well. They are not innovative enough. They are not productive enough. So they're not performing well. And they were thinking that a couple of issues influence this performance. The first is labor intensivity. We know that Cornwall is, like, the ecology of employment in Cornwall is very labor intensive. We have got, like, hospitality sector, tourism sector, fishing sector. So they are labor intensive. And this labor intensivity, influences that attitude that, okay, they are not able to perform well in this ecology. The other thing is, the other factor is level of IT skills, which again, like, okay, these people were not born when internet was invented. So, and then this theme was coming a lot in the interviews, that these people are not good in IT skills, which is true to some extent indeed, and that influences the performance as well. And as you see, as SMEs are afraid of the performance, what they do, they are risk aversive. They don't tolerate the risk. They don't want to take the risk. What is the action? First, they rely on their personal network. They don't want to advertise because they are afraid that older people would apply. They go to their personal network and try to employ from their own personal network. What is the effect of the reliance on personal network? The rate of older people recruited is low. What is the knock-on effect of that? As less older people are being recruited, there is less experience in terms of seeing in the scene that, okay, these older people are performing enough, they are capable enough, they are innovative enough. Less experience of seeing older people, like less change in this attitude. As less older people are being employed because of this attitude, the attitude stays as the same. So this is a loop. And I called it performance hurdle, because the concern about performance creates this loop. They rely on their personal network, they don't employ older people, the attitude stays the same. It shapes other actions as well, like, you know, as they rely on their personal network, they don't try to, you know, have HR services because they think that it's not, and they are small, they are SMEs. So probability of workplace adjustment is low as well. They don't touch the workplace. They don't adjust it to older people. They are not, you know, inclusive SMEs, and they don't employ older people. So this is one of the loops in it, and we call it performance hurdle. Loop means like kind of interlocking factors that sustain some employment practices indeed. The second is, can you go a bit up? Sorry. No, just sorry, down. Yeah, okay, just here. The second is that there is negative attitude, as you see down there, there is negative attitude to older people health. Like when I was talking to SMEs, they were thinking that, look, these people are not healthy enough. As they are not healthy enough, I'm not going to take risk. Because if I take them, there is a chance that they would take more days off compared to like younger people. And there is a danger that I have to pay the sick pay as well. So these factors come together: negative attitude to older people, workforce health, risk of sick pay. I don't want to risk, I'm not risk tolerant, I don't employ these people. I go just as normal, I go employ some people that I know, or I go and employ older people, sorry, younger people. And this is health hurdle. Again, a loop of practices, which is called health hurdle. They are concerned about the health. The third negative attitude, you know, revolves around manageability. Some people were thinking that, look, these older people are somehow crystallized in their way of working. They are hardly manageable. I'm a SME, you know, the SMEs normally are being run by, you know, younger managers, and they think that older people are not manageable. They are crystallized in their way of working. What is the action again? I don't want to take risk. I interviewed one guy who he was telling me that how many, you know, a couple of older people he just employed, and they exactly, you know, faced same problem, like that he was not able to manage older people. Older people were not happy to be managed by a young person, and just they were not, you know, he was thinking that they're not adaptive enough to adapt and change, and, you know, so again, action is the same. They rely on their personal network, or they go and employ a younger person. And this is the manageability hurdle. I'm not going to go to the full map because, you know, I don't have that much time, but as you see that the left part of the map is about the attitudes. What attitudes are there that are shaping these loops of sustaining practices that keep older people at bay in terms of employment, keep older people from being employed. And as less people are being employed, these, you know, SMEs do not experience enough, do not have enough experience of like dealing with older people. And that's why those negative attitudes are not, you know, challenged. And now think of what policies should we put there to, you know, address these negative attitudes. If you come to the right side of the map, you would see that again I have got a couple of loops here. Like one of them is hurdle of location here. Just I'm going to explain it, you know, very quickly. And this is about Cornwall. We know that Cornwall is like a very diverse place. You need personal car. If not, cost of travel is high, workplace accessibility, workplace is not accessible. And a lot of older people that I interviewed, they were telling that, look, I'm not able to pay for the cost of travel, and public transport is not good as well. So workplace is not accessible for me. So again, there is a loop. There is a loop which pushes people out of the employment system into the benefit dependency. And what benefit dependency means, that your chance of having personal car affordability is low when you are benefit dependent. So again, this loop of factors are working there and creating this hurdle of location. Another loop is unemployment. Unemployment, I called it bigots unemployment. It means that when you don't employ older people, what happens to them? Okay, they are hopeless. Either they have to go to benefit dependency, or they have to go to the gig economy. Can you go a bit down, please, so that people can see the gig economy? Okay, great, yeah. So people choose to go to gig economy, but we know that work satisfaction is very low in gig economy because of a couple of factors: labor intensive, low wage. Like, you know, one guy has been working for 30 years and now employment system is failing him, and he's going to go to the gig economy, but the wage is low. The wage is not enough for you know, a good quality of life. So, you know, people go to the gig economy. It's not good. Rate of attrition is high. People become unemployed. And think of this in Cornwall, because Cornwall's, you know, economic system is not that active, the job market demand is not high. Unemployment level is high. A lot of younger people are, you know, competing with older people. You go there as an older person, you go to the economic system, you go to the gig economy, you see that there is lots of competition, and worse, the work satisfaction is low. So then you lose your, you know, motivation to apply, and you prefer to jump to the benefits, stay in the benefit dependency, and not apply for the jobs. And if you go to the left, I'm just going to show the last part of the map, just a bit to left. Yeah, keep it here. And as you see, like, again, in the middle, when you go to benefit dependency, what I called it gap as a trap. This is another feedback loop. When you go to benefit dependency, what happens? There is employment gap. Like, you know, you go for 2, 3, 4, 5 years into benefit dependency, and there is employment gap in your CV. And then when you go to SME owners, they look at, say that, what you have been doing in the last 5 years? Oh, you are not able to, you are not able to perform enough. And then this feedback loop, this loop of practices ignites again. Oh, there is a gap. So then I'm not going to employ you because you are not, if you were good enough, then you have been able to find work and work. And also, so this gap has a trap. So I didn't have time to go fully into the map, but I tried to tell the most important points. So these are the factors, these are the interlocked factors or interacting factors that come together and shape self-sustaining practices, negative self-sustaining practices indeed. And if we want to, you know, develop policies, that's why I was telling that we need portfolio of policies, because if you change only one part of the system, the other feedback loops are untouched, and they are turning for themselves, they are working there. So we need a multi-pronged approach to policy to address the employment challenge for older people. Can you go to my next slide, please? Yeah, this is the thing that in the last slide, I'm telling that we need portfolios of policies. We have to sit together and think that, okay, these are the factors that are interacting and shaping the self-sustaining, negative self-sustaining practices of employment for older people, how we can address them. And that is a question open, to be honest. We have to think. I can say that what kind of policies we needed, but I think that, you know, policy should be shaped by, you know, by participation in it. So this is the older people one, and now I can go to the disabled people one. Should I present like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll allow time for Q&A at the end of your presentation, Esmaeil, because I know you have to shoot off.
Okay. So I can go to the disability one. Yeah, like the same for the disability one. We were trying to see that, to reveal that complexity of social system that keeps the disability employment gap unbridged in Cornwall, indeed. Can you go to next slide, please? It's the same, just like you know, as for the older people. We were trying to reveal the factors that shape the employment profile of disabled people in Cornwall, and we were trying to reveal how those factors interact, come together, and shape the employment ecology for the disabled people, and then think of the portfolio of policies. Next slide, please. And here I did interviews with 36 disabled people. I did a workshop again, just like the older people one, but COVID happened and we moved to interviews. I did interviews with 36 disabled people, SME owners, again, HR experts and policy people, and tried to turn those interviews qualitative data to system maps and to reveal the interactions between the factors. Can you go to the map, please? And I think you have to zoom on the map. Again, go to the left side. Okay, great, keep it here. And here, as you see, again, like in the older people one, it was about negative attitudes to performance, health, manageability. Here, when I was talking to SMEs, to HR people, to policy makers, and to disabled people, they were speaking of fears. You can say kind of attitudes, but they were more speaking of a couple of fears that SMEs have in terms of employing older people. What is the first fear? Like up here, fear of time off required. Like SMEs, and think that SMEs cannot risk. They have less time, less money, so they cannot risk in terms of employing, in terms of like employment practice, I can say. The first fear is fear of time off required. Again, the SMEs were thinking that if I employ a disabled person, they would take a lot of time off. And what is negatively increasing that fear, normally they are not well aware of the disabilities. They think that all the disabilities are similar. All of them are physical or like depression. They think like this. So they are afraid of like time off required. What is the result of time off required? When they are afraid, productivity concern. They think that, okay, this guy is not productive enough. Like they are not performing enough, productive enough. If I employ them, you know, there would be cost, and you know, I'm not going to make money. So I'm risk aversive. I'm not risk tolerant. So what happens to me? Either I go rely on my personal network, find some other people, non-disabled people, and I don't change the workplace. I don't touch the workplace. I'm not motivated to change the recruitment processes and make them inclusive enough for disabled people. What is the effect when you don't employ the disabled people? Then your experience of recruitment is low as an employer, and this lack of experience feeds back on that fear, makes it worse, or at least doesn't reduce it, because you are not facing the reality. You're not employing disabled people to see that how they are working, so that myth of time off required is gone. They are not employing, they are afraid, and this feeds back on it and increases the fear, or at least doesn't, you know, decrease the fear. The second fear is fear of regulations. Like SMEs are afraid of regulations. When you say regulation, they say, oh my gosh, regulation, I'm in a small SME. I'm afraid that I can do something wrong. What would happen if I do something wrong? So they are really afraid of regulations. And the point is that, interesting point, that their awareness about regulations is very low as well. And so they are afraid of the regulations. The decision is same as the fear of time off required. Risk aversive, difficulty aversive. They don't employ older people. They prefer, disabled people, they prefer employing non-disabled people. They don't change the workplace. They don't experience, they don't get information about the, regulations, and the fear stays same. Another fear is fear of cost, reasonable adjustments. It is like a phrase for us, but it's fear for them. When you say reasonable adjustment, the SME thinks that, oh, cost, then I'm cost aversive, I'm risk aversive, I'm difficulty, unknown. There are a lot of unknowns if I employ them. The action is the same. I don't employ disabled people. I don't change my workplace. My experience of like dealing with these costs is zero. Then what happens? It feeds back on the fear I'm not experiencing, and this lack of experience keeps that fear in its place. It doesn't reduce it. So these are the fear factors that are shaping the SME's decisions in terms of employing disabled people. But just like in the upper side of the map, I'm just going to finish it very quickly. Can you please keep it here? You see that there is another negative attitude to disability among the SMEs, and that is disability as incapability. They think that if you are disabled, you are incapable. You are able to do nothing. Then they don't provide the enough support, like for the disabled people. They don't change the workplace. You know, they don't. As a result, they don't restore the workability of the people. And if you see that even if they employ disabled people, they are not supportive enough, and the disabled person resigns like after a while. Can you go down just a bit? Like I'm going to, yeah. I called it disability as incapability loop indeed. The previous ones, I called them time of concern, cost monster, and regulation monster. And this one is disability as incapability, that because when they think that people are incapable, they don't provide the enough support. They don't go after the access to work, or if they go, they're not following it like as they have to indeed. So disabled people go to the job, but a lot of examples I saw that they got the job, there was no enough support, and after a while they left the job. And what happened when they left the job? They came to the benefit system. There was no option. They should go to the benefits. They go to the benefit system, and there is another feedback loop called benefit as trap, because if you go to benefit system, there is a cap there. The benefit system tells you that you are able to work for like 14 or 16 hours each week and earn like 146, not more than that. If you earn more than that, what happens? They come and take some of the benefits, and then these people, when they go to the benefit, okay, the employment system is failing, and then I go to the benefit system, and then these people sit and think that, look, if I work more than 14 hours, they take my benefits. If I earn more than 146, they take my benefits. So what is the point of going after employment? I can sit in the benefits. Like, this is comfort. If I go out of the benefit system, my comfort level goes down. All of these are feedback loops. All of these are the practices, factors that are coming after one another and shaping this practice. Then they think that, why I have to go out of the benefit system? Like, if I go, my financial comfort goes down. So they prefer the benefits, and they stay there. They don't apply for, because when they apply, the system fails them. And when they come to the benefit system, try to go out of it, again, system tells you that, oh, you are going out of the benefit system, I'm cutting some of the benefits. And then they prefer not to apply for the jobs, stay in the same place. Can you go down? I'm just going to if
we could, so we've got chance for questions, Esmaeil, if we could be really brief, please. Okay, this is the last one, because for the older people, I didn't cover this part. I'm going to cover now, and that is, like, I covered it there, but a bit. But again, the geography is shaping some practices here, because there is geographical dispersion. Job market demand is not good. Level of competition is very high. A disabled person or older person, they are competing with a lot of people, and they don't see a good chance of employment, and they prefer to stay in the benefit trap. Yeah, that was the last thing. And sorry, the last thing is that I told up there that SMEs are afraid of the regulations. The worst,
some SMEs think that they are exempt of the regulations. When you tell them that Equality Act or access to work, they think that they are exempt. I had a couple of interviews with SMEs. They were thinking that these don't apply to the SMEs. And again, that shapes the practices. So again, if you want to come up with some policies or practices or solutions, then one action would do nothing, would not be enough. Or at least some people would enjoy from it. But think of the Cornwall. This map applies to whole Cornwall indeed. So we have to think of like portfolio of policies, multi-pronged approaches to policies. A couple of policies indeed should be designed. Yeah, that is my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Esmaeil. There's a lot of information that you had.
Sorry, I was very quick, and I know that my maps are a bit complex, but I tried to.
And we will provide Esmaeil's contact details as well for people that may want to talk to him afterwards in more detail.